So I know this is different from what I usually make. I usually stick to horror or I do vlogs. But today I thought I'd come on here and talk about something that has actually changed my life. Whether people believe in it is one thing, but regardless, I thought I would share how my life has been for the past year because of this and how it basically works. So I just thought I would put a disclaimer first saying that if you are someone that's struggling with your mental health, please go and see a professional for that. As much as I was struggling and this helped me, it doesn't necessarily mean this is what you need. I'm in no way professional. I am just a girl with an opinion and I'm just talking. So if you need the help, I will be putting some links in the description so you know who to contact if you are struggling. So first I'm going to explain something called the law of assumption. Everyone gets the law of assumption and the law of attraction completely mixed up, where I would argue these two things are very different. So essentially the law of attraction is the idea that if something is meant to be for you, it will find you. Basically the universe has like a plan for you, and if you're meant to get something, you'll get it. And as much as like that's kind of nice, I don't fully agree with that. What I do agree with though is the law of assumption. The idea behind this law of assumption is a guy named Neville Goddard. You can look him up, look up his entire story, but it's essentially, if I'm gonna just make it into a short story, is that he was fantasizing about having all this money, all this stuff one day, approached some guy, I can't remember what the guy's name, or if we knew about a name, or I think there's a name for him. At least, I'm going off, but basically this guy told him to act as if he's got something that he wants. So say he was like, I want this money, or I want this success of my job. He was like, okay, well you've got it. You have, like, you can't convince me otherwise, that you've got this. Essentially telling him to act as if he's already got what he wants. He could be living in a fucking shoebox right now, but if he's like, I live in a mansion, and he has that mindset, and that's what he's basically telling his subconscious that he's got, eventually he will get that. To me, this shit is insanely true. This stuff works, and I'm being so serious. I know this could like sound like some weird hippie kind of love spell from Etsy type deal, but I have so much evidence now. If you saw where I was a year ago versus where I am now, in comparison for mental health, just in terms of the things that I wanted from life, you will be, I think that you'll be pretty convinced that it's real as well. About, I would say about 2 years ago, I was at my absolute lowest in terms of everything. I felt very defeated in life. I felt like I was not going anywhere. I wasn't getting anything I wanted. I was going to be stuck in the same job the entirety of my life. The one thing that I wanted to do job-wise, and I know this might sound a bit silly, but I wanted to do some kind of form of content creation. I ideally want to be a Twitch streamer, and that's what I was doing for about 3 years. I wasn't seeing any movement with it though, and so I was always kind of down about it. I never really had much passion for it because I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. It didn't stop me from streaming. I was still streaming even when I was in bad moods and whatever. Not as consistently as I do now, but I was still doing it, and I had absolutely nothing to show for it. I was very insecure. I felt like there was nothing appealing about me as a person in any way, shape or form. I felt as though I was very inferior to my friends, and it wasn't like a way that I was comparing myself to them or I was jealous or anything like that. It was just more like I could see they were doing well and I was so happy for them, but it was constantly like I had a mindset of like, when is it going to be my turn that I'm going to get something that I want? But maybe, you know, I just kind of convinced myself that that wasn't what life had chosen for me. I just kind of accepted that that was it for me. I was going to be in the same job for the rest of my life, same things to do every single day, the same routine, just being bored, going home, going to the gym, going to work, streaming to people that didn't care if I existed, essentially. And that was it. That is all I had. And I know that that's, if you think about it, that's a lot better than a lot of people, but from what was in my head, that just wasn't good enough, and I was absolutely miserable. I had severe depression. There was many times where I had, you know, just been thinking like, do I need to be alive today? It was a rough time. It was definitely a rough time. But one day, I don't know really what happened, but something in me basically had said that enough is enough. I didn't want to be in that way. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I had broken up my relationship that I was in for a couple years just because of how I felt. I didn't like the fact that I was affecting someone else. I didn't really have a strong enough reason to leave who I was with at the time, other than I can't do it because I'm just not, I'm like a shell of a person at this point, and I just don't want anyone to go through that. And I also don't, my heart's just not really in it anymore. So I ended that. I then took a trip. I went away. I went and stayed in LA for literally like, I think 4 or 5 days, so not even a really long time. But it kind of opened my mind to see that, and I know this is going to sound so cliche, but the world is so much bigger than what you've got essentially on your doorstep. What you've got every single day isn't what life is and what it can be about. There's so much more potential for it, and if you're not happy, you can change it. And if anything, that trip really put that into perspective for me. So I was so adamant that when I got back, I didn't want to be mourning not being away on like what was essentially like a little holiday for me. I wanted it to be that my reality was what I wanted, if that makes sense. I might be talking absolute shit, but at this time, big shout out to Amy for this. I was essentially whinging on Instagram messages to Amy about how annoyed I was that I wasn't away, I wasn't doing this, I didn't have anything I wanted, I hated being in my job all the time, I just like, you know, working full time for little reward and not really being able to do anything, and how bad I basically felt about myself. I was just ranting about how like I've just felt like shit and that no one would ever want to be with me again after my last relationship, all this nonsense essentially. And I think that she probably snapped. She was probably like, I am sick of hearing this girl just constantly bitching about everything. So she told me about the law of assumption. She tried to explain it to me, and I was like I would say I'm very open-minded with that kind of thing. Like I fully believe in aliens. I believe in the universe telling you shit. I believe that there's like energies and all this stuff. So it's not like fully out of the, like, you know, it's not like the most bizarre thing I've ever heard, but I was just a bit like, I would say I was just a bit skeptical about it when she told me about it initially. She made me watch someone on YouTube called Sammy Ingram, who does affirmation videos, manifestation videos, but mainly on the law of assumption. This girl's videos, I would say, are the reason that I was able to do this. Amy, for one, and Sammy Ingram, big shout out to these people. Sammy doesn't know I exist, but big shout out to Sammy. So the first thing that I ever tried when it came to law of assumption, which, as I said, is basically just assuming you have something even if you don't. So I was insecure massively, felt like I was the ugliest bitch on the planet, and I watched self-concept videos, and the self-concept videos were basically, you've got to talk to yourself, think to yourself over and over again that you are the best person in the world, you're the most attractive, everyone loves you, like you get everything you want. And that was my mindset for like a solid night. I just did it thinking to myself like, oh, I'll just say to myself, I'll just gas myself up all night, even though I was like 5 minutes before that being like, you're the ugliest bitch that ever lived. Even though I was literally like that 5 minutes ago, I was like, I'm a fucking god, everyone loves me, I am the coolest bitch on this planet. And I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but that is what I would just completely delude myself with. I was just convincing myself that that was my reality and that is how it all changed. I would basically tell myself and try and convince myself of this kind of thing for the whole night. The next morning I woke up, I went to work, and it was as if there was a complete energy shift, not within myself, but it felt like just everything around me was different. It felt as though people were being nice to me. I had someone send me flowers, which was so out of the blue. I started getting people compliment me at work. I had random people approach me and ask me out that I had just never had any acknowledgement from before. I had people in my DMs that were like what you would think were out of reach, if that makes sense. I obviously not going to expose anyone, but like it was fucking bizarre. I just could not believe what was kind of happening. But then that was an issue because I was so taken back by this. I remember messaging Amy after this day being like, oh my god, all this stuff happened to me, like how weird is that? And then she was like, no, it's not weird, this is your life. And I was like, wait, well, why? Like, no, well, no, it's not. But she was like, I don't think you're getting it. This is your life. Like, this is your life. And I was like, oh, now I get it. You've basically got to act like that is just normal for you. There's nothing out of the ordinary about people being, you know, thinking you're great, thinking that you're like worthy of shit. And that really did change. I'm not gonna obviously sit here and think I'm the most perfect person on this entire planet, but that really helped me a whole lot. After I had been in what would be probably the most traumatic experience I had ever been, my confidence was completely shot when it came to anyone. Obviously I'm not going to tell that entire story because it's a lot and it's just full-on trauma dumping, but because I didn't realize how much I hadn't really fully processed that until more recently, I would say, it completely destroyed my entire self-concept. As a person, I felt so worthless. So doing this completely changed things for me. Ever since I started doing self-concept affirmations, my world essentially shifted, where I was getting a lot more stuff. People were starting to give a shit about me. I was then basically pushing it on to other things where I would be, instead of just being like, I'm great, I'd be like, oh, I am really successful on Twitch. I'm like, people love watching me on Twitch. I have so many subscribers on Twitch. Bearing in mind, I probably had like 4 people sub to me. I now have 400. Like, come on, it works. It fucking works. And that's literally all just from me changing my mindset and accepting that the law of assumption is real and assuming I have all the things that I want. And everything that I have assumed has come true. But the thing is, that's the catch with this, because if you assume something bad, that can also happen to you. I had a kind of relationship, not really a relationship, more just kind of like a, I guess, situationship also. I don't know, I hate using that word. I think that's a fucking cliche, where I did like this person and I was told by them themselves they liked me, but I had it in my head that they never wanted to reply to me. The thing is, they were very much one of those nonchalant repliers where they would happily leave you undelivered for a few days and then get back to you. You could respond instantly, then you'd be waiting another few days for a reply. One of those kinds of people, right? We all know those. And so I had even asked them, I was like, do you like me? Like, why am I even bothering if you don't want to reply? And they're like, oh, I'm just busy. Like, of course I like you. Like, go on a spiel about how great you are and how much I like you. And you're like, right, okay. But because I had in my head, from what I had seen, they take ages to reply. They won't reply to me for however many days. That is what became my reality. I ended up with someone that would just think it was fine to leave me unread for however many days. And that was then affecting my mental health. So I once again was starting to fall into the, I don't deserve replies. I don't deserve people to like me. Or if people do like me, they like me for 5 fucking minutes and then they start leaving me undelivered, you know? And I almost started to spiral again. And that's the issue. If you spiral, it happens. You're naturally going to do that. But you've got to basically maybe take a day, feel all the feels, and then get your shit together and start thinking, no, they fucking reply to me. Like, they reply to me because they want to talk to me. They want to talk to me all the time. I'm the best person. And the thing is, I feel as though when you do this and you realize your self-worth, one, you don't want people like that do think you know, leaving you on like delivered is, oh, I'm so cool, I'm way too cool to be replying to this person that's way better than me, that I wanted first, you know. But honestly, when you start doing that, you do start to, one, you see yourself in a better light, and that is the most important thing, but other people do as well, and it definitely helps with your confidence, and it's really helped with mine. I could probably show you, there's probably pictures of me crying somewhere, I'm sure there is. And this is the thing, like, as I said, I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but believing in, I know that people have like religions they believe in a god, they believe in like some kind of higher power, but I'm once again gonna sound like an insane person, but I believe that we as people are the universe, we are this supposed god ourselves, and we can get whatever we want if we believe that we can have it, you know? There is nothing that you can't have. I've manifested obviously self-concept, I've manifested people into my life, I have manifested money, I've manifested success in job. I told myself there is no way I'm gonna be full-time at the job that I am by the end of this year, and then that was the same week that my Twitch blew up, and I was starting to make better money on it. Within a couple months after that, I'd been made partner, and I managed to drop my hours at work because I was earning enough on Twitch, go from 40 hours at my old job to doing maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and I was basically fine. That was my goal, and I achieved that so fast because I told myself that that's what I already had. I already had that. I already had partner. I was already doing well on Twitch. I already had people watching me. I had a good average of viewers, and it worked. And this is what I mean. I know from some people's perspective, I might sound like some egotistical maniac who's just like some, I don't know, materialistic or greedy bitch, but I get everything I want because I say that I get what I want. It comes to me because I want it, and I will have it. And a year ago, if like literally 2 years ago, if you told me that this was going to be how I felt, I'd be like, wow, you're a fucking dick. I thought, wow, Jade, why are you being such a knob? And also, that's so unrealistic, you're not going to get all the stuff. But I did. I got everything I wanted because I changed my mindset, and I will continue to do that. I will continue to get what I want because I will not accept a life I do not deserve. There's a reason why it's tattooed on me. I have ranted about this so many times on Twitch, and I'm apologizing to the people that watch my videos because I know a lot of you do come from Twitch, so hi guys. But also I am sorry that you probably heard me go on about this a lot. I've had multiple breakdowns, I've cried so many times on stream where I have felt insecure. I've basically told you all my feelings and how I used to believe that no one wanted to be with me, any person that I liked. It felt as though I always had something about me where they wouldn't want me to like be shown publicly. They'd never want to post me, never want me to even be with them at like events. They wouldn't invite me anywhere. They wouldn't come with me to events and stuff. And I had felt, and having years of that happen to you, it does eventually start to make you think that you're just not worthy of having anyone give a shit about you. But that is not the case. As I said, I changed my mindset and realised, 1, these people were trash. 2, I'm fucking great. 3, I can get anything that I want because I want it and I deserve it. That's what I'm trying to say is that if you are in a shit place, as I said, get help. If you really need the help, get the help. Please do, because the world is better with you in it. You might not think that, but I promise you it is. But something as simple as just being delusional can help you. You need to realise your worth because you deserve more. I know it's easy to just sit there and be like, oh no, like, this is it, this is my life. If you're not happy with that, fucking change it. Please fucking change it, because I wish I was told this 2 years ago, because think about where the fuck I would be now with 2 years worth of work. In 1 year, I have managed to do so much shit I never thought I would achieve. I've gone to so many cool places, met so many cool people that I never thought would be even in the realm of possibilities for me, just because I changed my mindset one day randomly in, I don't know, in fucking December January last year. And like, as I said, I know that there's people out there really happy living a life that I'm not sure. There's definitely a name for this kind of life. I just is it a nuclear family? Is that what you know what? I don't know. I did sociology once and you can tell I didn't pay attention. I know some people are happy with the life of you basically just exist. You go to a job every single day that you may tolerate, you may like, you may not like, who knows. You do that, you find someone, you get married, you have kids, then you grow old and you die. I know some people are really happy with that, but I can't think of anything worse, if I'm being honest with you. I don't like the idea of not being able to see things, do things, experience things. We are on a fucking floating rock. Please I'm not gonna have an existential crisis, but we literally exist on a rock in the middle of space. Look where we are. We're here. And we are so insignificant. There's so much stuff, there are so many things on this planet. We can experience so many things. I know there's so many terrible things on this planet, but there's so much good shit that we can see and we can experience for ourselves. I know things cost money, but once again, you can assume you've got money and you can literally make that money. Don't tell me you can't, because I've seen it done. I never envisioned my life being the standard life that I guess is just the natural paved way for people. As much as I know there's loads of people happy with that, if you're happy with that, then by all means, I am happy for you, because you've got your dream. That's fucking cool. You've got what you want. But the thing is, for me, I need experiences. I need to be able to have fun. I don't want any regrets in my life or think that I never did anything, just out of the fear that like something bad could happen out of it. Like, oh, you could go to this country, oh, but what if like something happens? Like, something can happen. I could walk out of my door right now and get hit by a car. Like, am I really going to be like, oh, I won't get on that plane and go to this random country that I've never been to that looks fucking amazing, just because, oh no, what if I go there and like I get lost, or like I fall into a fucking ditch? Like, who gives a shit? Like, sorry, almost lost my cool there. I hope that this has kind of helped anyone that's struggling. Just know that there is people that give a shit about you. There are ways to deal with whatever you're going through. If it's a serious thing, please go and see someone. I didn't. Not that that was the smart choice to do, but I guess some people have different ways of dealing with things. But please get help. And if you're someone that just wants to maybe gain that bit more confidence, see what you can do, the law of assumption is definitely real, and I commend everyone to try this out and see if you can get anything out of it as well. Because honestly, if you believe you have something, you can have it. I promise you that. But as I said, I hope that's helped someone. If I've helped even one person just think, wait, I'm gonna try that, and then, you know, give it a go and end up loving it and being so much happier, then I've done the right thing. But other than that, I think I'm done yapping, which is a surprise. If you want any more of my yapping, I have more videos. Let me know if you want any more content like this. It's, I guess, more of like the just about my views on life and my experiences. If you want that, then cool. If you would rather me stick to just talking about movies, then let me know. If you want to hear more of my yapping, I stream a lot on Twitch. You can follow me on there. You don't have to subscribe. You don't even have to talk. Just being there is enough, and I appreciate it. I say this all the time, and people are probably sick of me saying it. It's like I'm following a script, but it's true. It's absolutely true. That's all I care about. I hope that anyone that is struggling finds a way out of this. I know it's absolutely fucking rough, but I wish you the best. As I said, the world is better with you in it. I will put some crisis resources in my description below just in case anyone does need the help. Thank you for watching. As always, do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!